Hey everybody, it's Chris. I'm here with installment 3 of the Blue Collar Cicerones video series of reviews. I'm going to be reviewing the Blueberry Wheat Ale from Backwoods Brewing Company. They're in Carson, Washington, about 160 miles south of me right now. Always like to do local or at least Pacific Northwest beers when given the opportunity, more fresh. The beer is, the less distance it has to travel naturally. This is a beer in a can. I've only done 3 episodes so far, but over the course of time you will see that I am a big fan of canned beer. In blind taste tests, canned beer wins time and time again, and I think it's time that Americans got over their feelings that bottles were the only appropriate home for craft beers, and need to start looking past their prejudices towards bottles and start thinking about more cans, because I do think it's the packaging of the future. So I'm going to open this up, and I'll be right back, and we'll give this a review. Okay, now I've opened my Blueberry Wheat from Backwoods Brewing. I use this Sam Adams glass. These are especially good at opening up aromas. And you can get just the hint of blueberry. Now, the brewer themselves, Backwoods Brewing, actually says this is the Goldilocks of fruit beers because it's not too bitter and not too sweet. And looking at the BJCP, guidelines, it says that a fruit beer is may actually end up lightening. Well, here, I'm just going to read it to you. Fermentables. Overall, sorry, okay, I can't get to that. I apologize. But the point being that fruit beers sometimes lighten the base beer from which they come. This is a wheat beer. I'm smelling blueberry and honestly not a whole lot else. Now there is a little bit of a hay. Okay, yes, there is a hay. Slight hay past the blueberry, so it's very natural smelling. What would the blueberry smell in the hay? All right, this has an IBU of 20, I believe. Let me grab the can. Yeah, an IBU of 20 and an ABV of 5.2, putting it well within the standards for wheat beer. So, it's just a little bit hazy, just the slightest bit hazy. It's I wouldn't actually call it a hazy beer, but it's not clear either. Now there is sparse carbonation, and the head is rather resilient. I poured this. It's been sitting for a bit, and I've still got about a half a finger of nice cream-colored head on top. Really having trouble smelling anything besides blueberry and hay. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's just what the aroma is. And I'm not catching any other particular notes on the nose, so let's go ahead and give this a taste. Yeah, that is definitely a wheat beer. You feel like an almost instantaneous dryness with this beer, and just a little hint. The blueberry is actually more of an aftertaste than an original taste. Very much an American wheat with just the slightest hint of blueberry. Now, as I said last time when I was doing Boulevard, wheats are... It's difficult for a wheat beer to get a fair shake on my site and with me, but I do try to look past that. I try always to give beers varieties with which I'm not that fond an honest chance. I would say this is a good wheat beer. This is exactly the kind of beer you'd want to be drinking if you were, say, eating a bowl of pretzels and watching a game on TV. It's exactly what this beer would be perfect for. With that low ABV, 5.2, obviously you could drink a fair number of these and not be too worried about falling down. Or as time passes, the blueberry notes kind of fade away, and you do get a little bit more of the hay coming through than the blueberries right now. It is just the slightest hint of blueberry, making it a good fruit wheat beer. So overall, I don't give point scores or anything like that. I don't give stars. I just give my impression of a beer, and my impression of this is that for those of us who don't care for wheat beers, this is actually a pretty good wheat beer. If you're not into fruit beers, I'd say this is actually a pretty good fruit beer for you as well, because the blueberry is not overpowering, and it's not overpowering in aroma or flavor. Just the slightest hint on the back. You can tell they used real blueberries too, definitely. There's not you don't get that artificial saccharine. Somebody added blueberry flavoring to something. They flavored it with blueberries, and that's what you would expect of a craft brewer. So, good work, guys, at Backwoods. Not something I would buy a six-pack of, but if a friend offered me one of these, I would definitely drink it. And good drinking to you. Cheers.